Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Deadpool figure review. Let's do it.
Man, I used to play the trap spot, propped on the block like I was part of the backdrop. Now it's scale, props, effects, and backdrops. The right lighting, you never catch me biting. Say you make it look so real when you pose the figures fighting. I caught lightning, stuck it in the detour. Replicate epic scenes from the Creed War. Compose pieces with artists that span the globe. Fearsome foes, Spidey in the picture perfect pose. Insert the comic book cutout to shoot a show. Oh, you ain't know? Yo, everybody know me. I made nerds cool nerd like my man Zobi. Took the everyday display, gave it a spark. Welcome to Articulated Comic Book Art.
That's crispy.
So I already got the clamshell with Deadpool out of the package. Just looking at the outer rim of the package, looking at some of the logos and what have you, you can see this little word bubble here says check out the chump in the Deadpool tee, Deadpool logo. A couple of different things in Japanese that obviously I'm not going to be able to read to you. You can see the Kaiyodo logo there. On this end it says Figure Complex at the top, amazing Yamaguchi, powered by Revoltech, and sure, yeah, whatever. Deadpool and Kaiyodo logo again there. And then one more picture of Deadpool here and some more logos. So a closer look at the back of the box, you can see some different facial expressions and some different word bubbles and sound effects. Front, you got a nice clear picture of the figure there. More logos, the Marvel logo there. You can see that little backdrop inside of the box with some artwork for Deadpool. And there's the artwork from the inside. So that looks pretty cool. You open the flap, you can see that they are encouraging you to cut out these cutouts basically. So on this side there's a curse word, so that is very interesting. So as always, I was messing around with the figure a bit before I actually started shooting this review, and I'm very happy with the figure. It is a very nice figure. The look, the design, the paint scheme, and obviously the articulation. Revoltech figures are known for their revolver joints. That's why they're called Revoltech figures. They're known for having a great range of motion as far as articulation goes, and for you to really be able to get the figures into some really dynamic poses. They're not really for vanilla posing, and oftentimes when you try to pose one of these figures in a vanilla pose, it doesn't look quite right. Now, the last figure that I bought from Revoltech was the Revoltech Ultron, which looked really good in a vanilla pose and still had all of that, the ability to pose it dynamically as well. So this one actually, this figure, the Deadpool, actually still looks pretty damn good in a vanilla pose, but the idea is to really dig in and pose this figure. And it's I feel that the Revoltech figures will actually make you a better poser if you just kind of mess with them and try to get them into all of the different poses that you see on the box and challenge yourself to do different things. I think you can be a better poser with these particular figures. Now, they're not for everyone. It does take some getting used to. It's not like your traditional figure that you would get like a Marvel Legend or something from Mattel. It does take some getting used to, and it does take some work to really get them into nice, accurate poses. But straight out of the package, he actually had these two hands that you see in front of the figure on the figure. So the thumbs up and the fists were on the figure. I already switched them out for the two trigger fingers and put the two pistols in his hand. I'll go over the articulation a bit in a moment, but I guess I'll go over the accessories first. So in all, you actually get 4 sets of interchangeable hands. You get 2 fists, 2 open hands, 2 thumbs up, and the 2 hands for holding the gun. Look at the sheath here. You can see the little Deadpool logo. This tabs into the back of Deadpool with a little peg there. And these are actually like quarter swords. So, you have the fully elongated sword. 2 of those come in the package, but you can remove this little quarter part if you have him holding one sword and you want to show that one sword is removed from the sheath. But they do it like that so you don't damage the regular elongated sword. But this looks very good. The paint and everything looks good. There's some little ridges on the handles, and something that's unique here is 3 pegs in his back, so you can actually adjust this to where you need it to be according to what you're doing as far as posing them. And it looks like the same hands that he's using to hold the guns is the same hands that he uses to hold the sword. He can hold both of them with no problem. You can see his finger and the trigger groove there. And this is not slipping out in any way. So that looks very good. One thing that I noticed is that the hands that hold the guns and the swords, the peg hole is a little off-centered. Purposely, I don't think it's an error, but it's right under the thumb on both of these hands as opposed to all the other hands where it's dead center. So you got to be a little careful when you're pegging these hands in. Here he is with the set of open hands. And also I forgot to mention that the sheath for the swords, it rotates in that hole as well. So if you need to rotate that a bit to get everything lined up for something like this, then you can. You know, just about every part of this figure moves. It also comes with an interchangeable head, and what's unique about this head is that you can actually swap out the eyes on this head. He also comes with 3 sets of interchangeable eyes. This little piece here comes in the package, and you can actually use this to pop out the eyes and switch out the eyes. There's an eyeless Deadpool head, and you got to be careful when you're popping out the eyes because they will literally pop out and fly across the room. So you might want to hold it in the front so the eye doesn't pop out and you don't lose them. There's really not too much difference between the top set and the middle set. The middle set is probably the squintiest, but you know, you can see a slight difference, and then you got the heart-shaped eyes, so that looks pretty cool. The eyes are arranged in the package exactly how they go onto the figure, so you want to pop them out and put them in that same fashion. So basically, the head pops off to reveal another piece here, so don't forget to leave that on when you're popping on the next head. There it is with the hard eyes, and we got the Figma Ted 2 figure making an appearance here. I'm not going to swap out the other eyes right now, just a little bit pressed for time, but you get the picture. They work fine. There's no real problem trying to interchange them. It's the mechanism for swapping them out is sound. And then the last accessory he comes with is this little striking, I guess it's supposed to be like a little dashing thing to make it look like he's running, but in the past this has come with some other Revoltech figures. And I've used it as sort of like a strike, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like he's dashing as a peg there. I'm assuming it pegs in the bottom of his foot. I think that looks about right. I think that's what it's for. So, and I forgot to mention he comes with a stand as well, so you can really get him into some aerial dynamic stuff. In terms of articulation, there is loads of articulation, and I'll probably miss some points and not even go over every single point of articulation, but the head is on like a hinge here. I wouldn't say that it's a ball joint. You saw how it looked when I removed the head, but you can get it to move left and right. You can get it to move down a great amount, but then there's also a joint at the neck here, so his head can actually go down really far and can go up pretty far as well, so you could get them to look up pretty far. Now these are the Revolve joints that I'm talking about. There is 2 points here, so it actually enables you to get the arm in really far. It'll go back, it'll go up, it'll rotate. You can actually remove it from this joint here and rotate the joint a bit for more range of motion. It's very strange and not typical when you're trying to figure out how to move these joints, because they do move very odd, and they can look odd if you don't really get it into a certain pose. So it does take some getting used to, but it does give you a very nice range of motion. You do get a nice ab crunch. It'll go back just that far, not really forward too far. I mean, not really back too far, but it'll go forward a lot. One thing I forgot to mention that I don't like, minor gripe, is that none of the guns or the knife or anything here is removable, although all of these things are pliable. You can move them around. They don't hinder the articulation in any way. You can rotate them a bit at the upper torso and a little bit at the lower waist as well, so you do get a pretty good range of motion in the torso. The leg will come up just about that far, and it'll rotate on the joint there, and it'll also rotate at the upper thigh. Double jointed knee. One thing that I like here is that you can actually flip that up and down so the knee is not completely exposed, but there's another good look at that joint. The joint rotates, it revolves, as well as hinges. So that's what every single joint, anywhere that it bends on the figure, it will move in that way, and you can pull it apart and rotate the joint more if you need to. So there's a good look at that. So you know you do get a hinge and a pivot there and a toe joint, and this is just a great figure as far as articulation goes. Same thing on both sides. And I said I would forget something, and I did. Totally skipped over the point at the elbow. You do get a double jointed elbow. It'll get up really far. You know, there's that revolver joint again, and it will rotate and bend at both points here, above and below the joint. So a very nice range. See the joint inside there, so you can get his legs up really far. You can get him into almost Spider-Man like once again, because every joint rotates. You know, you get the legs up and you can still rotate them at the knee. That's at every point. So overall, very happy with this figure. I think this figure is the truth. I think it's a very nice figure. I'm looking forward to the Spider-Man that's supposed to be coming out later this year, if I'm not mistaken, from the same line. So you know, you can expect the same type of articulation, and you're going to really be able to get Spider-Man into some really dynamic poses as well. If I'm not mistaken, this was a web shop exclusive, so it's going to be a little pricey to try to get this now locally or domestically. It'll probably cost you almost $100 at this point now. I was able to get it directly from Japan, so I didn't pay too much. I think I paid about $50, maybe $55, something like that. But I do think it is worth it in maybe $60 to $70 range. It is a very good, very, very good figure. I highly recommend it. Happy with this purchase. Alright, y'all. Until next time. Peace.